first stop on our grand tour, the pentatonic axis positions. And the 3 pentatonic scales aligned on them. This accounts for all but 6 note positions on the 3 low strings in the key of C. Which comprise 2 instances of the tritone and the 2 major sevenths of the key. Also revealed by these axis positions is the alignment of the major and minor thirds within the 3 pentatonic scales of the key. Of course, there's a perfect fourth between the scales at each axis position. Reintroducing the half steps, we can see how they form symmetrically positioned clusters. Now we arrive at a procession of fifths, including all the perfect fifths, as well as the diminished fifth, which is an inversion of the tritone. D is at the center of the pattern, and moving outward from D in opposite directions will result in the pairing of specific notes. On these strings in this key, the notes on the 3rd, 5th, and 7th frets form the lower center symmetry, and a pattern I like to call the big box. The big box combines the Mixolydian and Aeolian modes, and on either side of it, there are other symmetrical patterns. The big box is positioned at the center of the lower symmetry. And so from there, we can go outward and upward in both directions. In the center position, we see a unique elliptically shaped half-step cluster, which is one of 5 half-step clusters, along with 2 semi-clusters. Now that we've gotten a glimpse of some of the patterns that can be found by starting at the center and moving outward, let's return our attentions to the center zone. And this time, rather than playing scales, let's look at some arpeggios. So far, all of our attention has been on the area of the fretboard between the open strings and the 10th fret. So our tour of the planet guitar has only visited one of its hemispheres. If we voyage halfway around the planet, we arrive at a position with no notes at all belonging to the key, the fulcrum of yet another symmetrical array, the void. In every key, all of these patterns remain the same. Though the fret positions will change, the key degrees are identical. All of the scales and chords of the 12 diatonic keys follow the same symmetrical structure. That structure is found on the guitar fretboard, if you know what to look for. Approaching the fretboard by starting from each open string, which is the usual method, will not reveal this symmetry. But if you know where the key centers are, and how the notes of the key align in the axis positions and half-step clusters, by understanding the geography of the fretboard landscape, you can have a better awareness of the musical system itself. The awareness of the entire shape of each key will enable you to better apply your knowledge of theory on the instrument.